You may have heard how so many people have lost weight and kept it off with the carnivore diet. Today I'm going to give you my beginnings and how I got started with the carnivore diet. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Dave. I'm an aspiring Appalachian Trail Thru-Hiker who has latched on to the carnivore diet as my way to lose weight and get ready for the Appalachian Trail. I have struggled with weight going up and down for many, many years. I remember as a kid, when I was 14 or 15 years old, I gained about 15 or 20 pounds after an injury that kind of kept me sidelined, and I started drinking Diet Coke at the time, and that's been 40 years ago. And so I'm kicking that habit, which is, a big deal for me. But I also want to, so yeah, I've tried pretty much everything in order to lose weight and get healthy. And now that I'm doing the carnivore diet, I feel that this is the right fit for me. It's been going well. I have several videos that are kind of describing what I eat in a day, how much it costs in a month, and then also talking a little bit about, my progress and how I'm doing on the carnivore diet. So with all that said, let me ask you a question. Why do you want to do the carnivore diet? Is it to lose weight? Is it to get healthy? Do you have something chronic going on, like chronic inflammation? I know that I started and I had knee pain. That wasn't the primary driver of me wanting to go on the carnivore diet. My primary driver was to lose weight, and lots of it. So what is it for you? Where are you coming from when you want to think about doing the carnivore diet? Is it, I have a 40th reunion coming up for high school, and last time I was 40 pounds heavier than I am today, and it felt really uncomfortable talking to, the guys that I went to school with. Being as overweight as I am and being a physical therapist, it just it didn't fit for me. So what do you have to lose? For me, it was cravings. I lost pretty much every craving that I had. I don't drink Diet Coke anymore. I don't eat sugary processed foods anymore. I don't eat vegetables. I don't miss vegetables. I'm getting full on the carnivore diet. I do add some iodine because I think that's good for my health as far as thyroid. But really, what do you have to lose? It's a diet just like any other, except I think this one works. I think it works better than all the others that I've tried. I've done many yo-yo type episodes in my life through several different diets. And this one is going well, and it has a good community around it. A lot of people are very helpful. You will hit some roadblocks and you will plateau at times, but that's just like anything. Your body is trying to readjust to something new. And then the other question is, how addicted are you? I was very addicted to sugar. I would go to McDonald's and get a large Diet Coke with light ice. And then I would go from McDonald's over to Dunkin' Donuts. Fortunately for me, they were close together. And I would order 2, 3, 4 donuts, depending on the day, because I had to have a variety of donuts. I might order a muffin and a couple donuts. And so I was very addicted. Lunch, I never brought anything for lunch, so I always ate out. And that just kept me unhealthy. And then when I decided to do the Appalachian Trail about 7 or 8 months ago, I still have another 5 or 6 months before I get on the trail. I needed to lose weight, and I needed to get rid of those cravings. I don't want to go on the Appalachian Trail and think I need to get off the trail just so I can get a Diet Coke. That's bad for me. It's bad for everybody, and it will definitely stop your progress. So how did I get started? Because of my heavy addiction, I didn't want to do a in moderation style diet. What I did first was I went to the store. I bought 3 or 4 steaks. I bought some eggs, some bacon, and a whole bunch of butter. And I started to cook that up and eat that until I was full, until I just realized that I didn't need any other food at the time. So I basically stuffed myself with carnivore foods. As I got adjusted to the diet, I started to eat a little bit less, and I consolidated it. I started to get down to twice a day eating lunch and dinner, and that's really where I'm at right now. I fast between dinner and the following lunch, and that seems to work for me. I do have a cup of coffee in the morning. It's usually in the form of iced coffee with a couple creams, and I know that the creams are breaking my fast that I have, and they're probably adding about a gram of carbohydrate. But I also haven't been sleeping well, and I've spoken about this in previous videos that I'm trying to get that, going, and I'm trying to learn how to sleep better. Like everybody, I have a lot on my mind, and at night I don't have any bloatedness, and I will end up just waking up. Like this morning, it's 7:45. I've been up for 3 or 4 hours doing a couple other videos and whatnot. So to get started, that's kind of how I did it. But there are so many other ways to do it. You can get hamburgers and make 20 hamburgers and eat one every couple hours, but just keep eating until you're full. If you do it like that, then over time you're going to have 2, and then you might have 3 hamburgers, but you're not eating for a longer period of time in between. And then you might start to do some fasting like I do. I do 16 to 18 hours of fasting. I don't time it. I don't have a clock. I don't take any measurement on how many calories I'm eating. I do eat stuff that is 70% fat by calorie. I believe that's how we say it. I shop every few days because it's on the way from work. So that's something that I would do. The preparation isn't always about getting rid of everything in your cupboard. I couldn't do that. My wife was eating what I call a regular breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She would often skip breakfast. I have a son at home. He's a senior in high school, so his diet is different. So we couldn't just purge everything out of my house. But what I did do is I have a section in the refrigerator of my foods, and it's my carnivore friendly foods. And so I can't eat outside of that little shelf in the refrigerator. I also stock my basement refrigerator with seltzer water, and the seltzer water gives me the bubbles that I was craving from the Diet Coke, which I don't crave the Diet Coke, but I like the bubbles, so that keeps me satiated in that way. A couple other things is you will expect to have change in your bowels. I noticed this early on. One, you may go less often, but then you also have to adjust the fat level in your diet to be the appropriate amount that you need. We can tell how much fat we're eating by our stools. If it's very loose, then you're having too much fat. If you're more constipated and they're harder stools, then it's going to be a need to add more fat. You have to find that right balance, and that's kind of how it is. Other people have experienced like nausea, upset stomach, headaches, and that I think is depending on how much they're coming off of something. When I came off the diet, I had a little bit of a headache, but it wasn't bad. I guess what I mean is when I came off of bad eating, it wasn't a bad headache, but it was still, a slight headache. And then that went away quickly. I had to adjust, what's going on with my stools. But other than that, the energy started to come back. I stopped snoring within a few days. I was definitely in need for decongestion. For that, I had snored quite a bit. And my bloat has come down. I still am working on losing weight. I've lost about 35 pounds so far, 26 of it on the carnivore, and 9 of it prior to that on the keto or ketovore diet. And then I transitioned over. So Let's talk about budget. Sometimes people have trouble with that. I have a video that I just talked about on my monthly budget. If you're addicted to sugar and carbohydrates, you're probably spending a lot more than what you're going to spend on a carnivore diet. I tend to spend about $310 on my diet. So look at your budget, try to do the best you can with what you have. I don't think you need to start with perfect food as far as carnivore goes, but I think that you need to get there eventually. I'm kind of in that point where I'm still losing weight, still saving money for my Appalachian Trail Thru-Hike, so I'm not too worried about the higher quality food. I try to find it if it's on sale. Otherwise, I'm just trying to save money with that. Let's talk about social pressures. What is going to happen is everybody that you know, when you tell them you're eating just meat, the first question is, so, no vegetables? And I find that kind of funny when I just said, I just eat meat. So that's kind of how my discussion goes. You will feel people that have struggled themselves will try to pull you down. I call that crabs in a bucket. Crabs in a bucket means if there's a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one of them tries to crawl out, tries to escape, tries to do better, then the other crabs will grab his leg and pull him back in. That's what I think people do naturally, whether it's sugar addiction, alcohol addiction, any other addictions that you might have. People don't want other people to succeed if they can't. I would be encouraging to your friends, say, hey, I'm doing this. Then you talk about it as an elimination diet. I've done that. If you're like me, you might want to research, the carnivore diet. Watch people like Anthony Chaffee, Ken Berry, Kelly Hogan, Homestead How with Kerry and his family. But there's several people that are doing it, and many of them have been extremely successful. So I would try to do that. And then if somebody asks you and they give you a hard time, just take the high road. You're not going to please everybody. I have a person in my life who questions everything that I do, saying that I'm not going to be healthy and and this is bad. And I just take the high road and I was like, this is what I'm doing. And this is how it's going to be. So you will end up dealing with people because a lot of people are unhappy. You can also be what I call an evangelist for the carnivore diet, but I would wait. I would wait for that until you are well versed in it. I would just, you do you, learn it, grow into the carnivore diet, and get better. But make it as easy as possible on yourself where you don't feel obligated to tell everybody what you're doing. When I go out to a restaurant, I will buy wings because they're the simplest thing. I know that the wings have seed oils in them, most likely, the way that they're prepared, but I get plain wings. And nobody questions that because I get a pound of them or 2 pounds and I just sit there and eat them and I bring the leftovers home. So it's not like somebody is like, oh, that guy's on this creepy, weird diet. It's like, no, he's eating what everybody's eating. So it appears like it is, somewhat normal. So if you haven't already and you like what I'm giving out here on my channel, please subscribe. Share this video with somebody else who might need this and might need to get started on a carnivore diet. And then just try it. 30, 60, 90 days. I would go for a 90-day because 90-day, you're going to see a lot of changes. A lot of really good changes happen. I've thrown a bunch of those out on a video that I did. Again, I do have a lot of videos on this. I'm also preparing for the Appalachian Trail. So if you're into that, then you can watch those videos. I just put one up on the gear that I'm using on the Appalachian Trail. So check it out and hope to see you next time. Thanks.